must be time for another update from your North Carolina Medical Society. Well, it's the end of October, and we are still in session and likely to be in session at least until next week, or at least that is still what the plan of what we're hearing is thus far. So the Senate has said that they'll be going home by October 31st, and we are starting to see some of those mini budget bills that we've been talking about moving. So we've seen the transportation one in particular move this week, as well as an IT mini budget bill. So those are still slowly moving through the process. So I want to point out one bill specifically to you that relates to health care that moved this week, and that's Senate Bill 342. So this is the Birth Center and PBM licensure bill. Now, if you recall, in the past, we've talked a little bit about the Birth Center bill, which was its own standalone bill, which is something that the Nursing Association and the OBGYNs, the midwives, and a large group of stakeholders had convened together after the tragedy at Baby and Company in Cary, where an infant died. So the result of that was that all of these stakeholders came together and said, what can we do to license birth centers in the state of North Carolina? So this was an agreement. This language was an agreement with all of those stakeholders being involved. So that bill moved, but now has been added to the PBM licensure. So this is the Pharmacy Benefit Manager licensure piece. So we've combined these two bills into one. So this would license pharmacy benefit managers in the state. They're currently not regulated by a state entity, so these two different pieces of legislation have now become one, and we have seen that move through the House this week, so to be determined on what the Senate will do on that bill. Now, another big thing that happened this week is the House Health Committee met to hear about Medicaid transformations and hear an update from the NCDHS Secretary. So Secretary Cohen was there, as well as Dave Richard from the Medicaid program. And also, the North Carolina Healthcare Association had a CFO talk about the impacts that they're seeing, and our very own Chip Baggett from the North Carolina Medical Society also gave a presentation from physicians and physician assistants and what you all are seeing in the midst of this transformation process. So a few things that I want to point out to you is that we're still continuing with our February 1 go live of Medicaid transformation. So that is not that far away. So I say that to say, if you haven't signed or signed up your contract to be involved in the Medicaid program, you need to start looking at that. Ask your practice manager, because they are trying to have all of this information to start the auto-enrollment process for primary care by November 15th. So that's a very important date if we continue with this timeline. And hopefully by December 13th, they want all Medicaid recipients who want to choose a plan to choose one of the entities to be their own personal plan. So those are some important dates for you. So just want to point that out, that if you haven't, if that's been on your desk or on your practice manager's desk, that timeline is quickly approaching. So that's what happened this week at the North Carolina Legislature. So we'll be back definitely next week to give you another update. Hope you have a great weekend.